Hey guys, I'm Nicole Conte and I'm the host of the Sweet Success podcast. I'm here with Erica Wilson and Taylar Posey. Erica is a therapist at the Olive Branch Counseling Center. Taylar is a life coach at 4031 Life Coaching and Consulting. We are right here in Alabaster, Alabama, and these amazing ladies are going to give us some practical ways to help, and they're going to give us some hope to let us know that it's okay to not always be okay.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
You need to listen to our last podcast if you don't know that, because we talked extensively about that. But today, we got something else to talk about. We're talking about stress in the workplace. Ooh, dun, dun, dun. So, stress in the workplace. We talked about stress and anxiety in one of our previous podcasts about being different, right? Mm-hmm. They're not always the same, right? Being stressed, feeling anxiety, it's not always, they don't always coincide, right?
Right.
Okay, so stress in the workplace, where's it coming from? Where's it stemming from?
So, one thing that I have learned over the years is that stress, for me specifically, and probably for a lot of other people, it builds up when you have multiple things to do. Mm-hmm. So, just, walking into your office building may not give you stress, but once the day starts and you realize you have multiple tasks to complete in a short amount of time, that's where for a lot of people stress comes in. Or maybe you are walking through the door and you're thinking about an exuberant amount of things that you have to do throughout the day, but again, it is multiple things that you're thinking about doing that create a lot of stress. If I just have one thing to do one day and nothing else happens, then great. That's a stress-free day. But I think stress comes when you're overwhelmed and you have multiple tasks to complete and so many different things are happening. Maybe you don't know if you're going to be able to get everything done. So sometimes that's where the stress can come in, when you have a lot of different things and a lot of different tasks that you need to do.
And then not only having a lot of different tasks. For me, times I feel most stressed are when I have my list, and I love to check off a to-do list, right? But then other things start coming from the sides and blowing up, and I'm having to put out little fires everywhere, and that's when the stress compounds.
Right.
And it feels like, okay, how do I start?
How do I prioritize? What do I do
prioritize?
first? And again, that comes from, it's not just one thing you have to do. It's a lot of different things that have happened that now, like you just said, I had my list of things. I was good with that. But now more and more has come, and now I'm overwhelmed. So it comes when, a lot of times when there's just more to complete than you know what to do with. You don't know which one to do first. And the thought of, like you said, I'm a list person too. I'm not going to be able to get this done. I can't check it off. Mm-hmm. So that's when it happens.
So what are some ways that we can practically work on those situations, on prioritizing? If I've got so much on my list and then other things are happening, I mean, let's be honest, you are an administrator at a middle school. I know there are little fires everywhere for you to put out.
There are little fires everywhere. I'll be honest with you. The one thing that I do is I start my day with a prayer. And that's not to say that I don't still get stressed sometimes. But Erica and I went to a seminar at our church last year. And the one thing that I took away from the speaker, she said that she prays every day, Lord, please help me see you, hear you, and know you. So every day that I walk into the office, I have to just pray, okay, Lord, help me to see you in some way, help me to hear you, and help me to know you. Now, that doesn't mean that students may not get in trouble, teachers may not need help, parents, and that's one thing about being in this job. Some days I do get everything checked off my list, some days I don't, because there are things that happen. Prioritizing, I would say, and what works best for me, start what needs to be done and go ahead and get done what needs to be done that day. So if there's something that might not be due until the end of the week, you can wait on that. Yeah. But if there's something that happens that you need to get done before you leave that day, that's what you need to work on. And it depends. It's different for every job.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of whatever your occupation is and whatever you feel as though, hey, this has to be done today, that's what you got to put at the top of the list. Anything else that might not be due till the next day or later on in the week, you'll just have to wait on.
And that's hard. And I think that goes back to being okay with
Yeah.
with that, right? Like
Right.
not knowing that you're not able to maybe complete everything that day because of the, outside stressors that came in, but knowing that that's okay because we are prioritizing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think too, making sure you start a task and finish that task too. So it's not
That's huge.
it's not on your list of things to do, and you don't finish it, and then it still stays on your list of things to do, and it's just added to more of things that you have to finish or things that you have to do. But I do think when we're thinking of stress in the workplace, we have to think about like all the people that we work with, and there's a lot more people than just us there, and they are also feeling the same things. They have priorities that they have to complete. They have timelines that they have to finish. They are overwhelmed, overworked, which tends to make some people feel more negative about what's going on, and not necessarily of their environment, but just they have a lot to do. And when you're in a workplace with a lot of people, personalities aren't always going to clash. Personalities are just going to, they're going to, you are who you are. And if negativity creeps in, a negative environment creates a stressful environment. And so I think it's very important for yourself to walk into a workplace knowing what kind of mindset you have for that day. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be, the cheery, happy person at work all day long. But I do think you have to take that into consideration, the fact that there are a lot of people in a workplace.
Right.
And you don't know what they have going on in their life. You don't know what's on their to-do list of things for the day. You don't know what tasks they've completed. But I do think that is somewhat of a key to stress in a workplace, is like a negative vibe, or the fact that you can't really get out what you want to get out, as far as like making sure things are done in a timely manner, especially if you're in charge of those kinds of things.
So if I can't control someone else, which I feel like is probably 99% of the issues that we face, right? Like we can't control a situation or someone else, but we can control how we react to
Right.
it.
That's right.
And you both are saying starting that day with a prayer, with a mindset. So what are some ways to focus on what we can control?
Yeah, so one of the activities, and I may have shared this in some previous podcasts, one of the activities that I do with my clients is we have 2 circles. The biggest circle is the things that you cannot control. The smallest circle are the things that you can control. So the main thing that you can control, and I even tell my students this, you can't control what your teacher is going to say to you that day. You can't control whether your best friend's going to be mad at you or not, but you can always control your attitude and how you respond to it. So even if you're in the workplace and you have that coworker that is really hard to get along with, or they're in a bad mood, either you can choose to jump in that seat with them and I'm going to be ill with you because you're ill with me, or you can choose to protect your peace and handle it differently. So really in life, you always have a choice of how you react to something.
Right.
So you can just either choose to turn it around and make it positive. And maybe that's you just walking away from that coworker and just, hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you later. And maybe you just make that choice for yourself, like, I'm probably not going to go back and see her today because she's in a mood and I've got other things to do. And that's okay. But that kind of goes back to those boundaries of what are you willing to put up with? And it's either you jump in that seat with them and take on their feelings and emotions of sadness or negativity, or you can choose to handle it differently.
Right.
And I think we both have a lot of clients that do struggle with their stress and their feelings of being overwhelmed is from the workplace. So I think it's very important to know that you still can go and talk to someone about your stress in the workplace without, of course, mentioning names or even where you work. It really is just about, you being in that healthy mindset of, okay, I don't have to engage in this conversation. I don't have to engage with the negativity that I'm feeling in this area or in this workplace. However, if you are in a workplace where you have multiple bosses or authority over you, obviously there is some level of respect that you have to maintain. But your workplace should be a place where you go and you have a passion and you're doing what you love and you're doing the things that you feel like you were called to do, and this is your job. However, there are a lot of people that are stuck in a workplace that they feel like they can't get out of. Maybe it's just financially. Maybe it is they used to love it, but now someone has come above them and they're not such a great boss, but there is that level of respect that they do have for their boss. But it does make the stress level for that individual a little higher because there's nothing they can do or say about it. And so I get clients that will come in and literally just be in tears because they're so overwhelmed and so overworked and don't really know how to get out of it other than, me trying to help teach them how to change that mindset and get to a place of, okay, I'm here to do my job. I'm here to work at wherever I work. I'm here to get my paycheck to be able to provide for my family, the end. However, it doesn't mean that you need to be miserable doing all that without having someone to talk to about what's going on.
Right. And I think that's where I think a lot of times we just think, well, this is a job, this is work, this is what we do to put food on the table, and no job is going to be perfect.
Right.
But you don't have to be miserable, even if it's not your dream job, right? And I think that's where coming in and speaking with a therapist and a life coach to help you maybe just kind of change that mindset and figure out how to still live in that, right?
Yeah.
And be a positive, happy person, not let it completely drag you down.
Right.
No job's going to be perfect, right?
Yeah, you can be in a stressful workplace but still enjoy your job.
Yeah.
But if you let it get to you without, just letting it build and build and build and not have anyone to talk to about, that's where the stress of it all just makes you want to run. Makes you want to, escape. And you can't. Financially, the majority of people can't just say, well, okay, I'll quit today. It's not realistic.
Right.
So really using the tools that we have with therapy, with life coaching to continue going, right? And having that positive energy and mindset to be able to keep it up. And I think that is something that we just don't use enough, which is we have the power to control how we're responding, right?
Right.
But I think that you guys are helping so much to realize that. Look, you're helping me. I'm like, ooh, maybe I need to change on those few topics. And I'm sure our listeners are as well. But all right, so workplace stress.
Yes.
Always going to be there, but doesn't have to control our life.
That's it.
Absolutely.
All right, girls, appreciate you so much. We'll talk with you soon.
Thank you, Nicole.
You have been listening to the Sweet Success Podcast with licensed therapist Erica Wilson and certified life coach Taylar Posey. If you have questions or topics you'd like to have addressed on an upcoming podcast, please message Erica on Facebook at the Olive Branch Counseling Center or Taylar on Facebook at 4031 Life Coaching and Consulting. Spell out 4031. For more information on Erica Wilson and all that she offers, visit theolivebranchcounselingcenter.com. And for more information about Taylar Posey and her services, visit 4031.org. Spell out 4031. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to our next time together. Please subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
This podcast is produced by yourpodcastnow.com. Let us produce a podcast for you.